And we are live, folks. Hey, guys. Good morning. Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Another episode of Around 7. Around 7:01 a.m. Pacific. We had to kind of get a couple things off our chest before we hit the go live button, which is still kind of lingering.
Come on.
Anyway, hope you guys are having a great start to the day. Man, Jeff, I'm looking out here to the San Jacintos. We had some Mother Nature stuff a couple nights ago, and wow, it is like the sky is like that really crisp blue against all white San Jacintos. It's
Bluebird Day.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful here.
Yeah. Well, so, yesterday I drove up to, Moraga to coach, and there was a little question about, when the court was going to dry and all that. But when I drove up, East Bay Hills snow-capped. It was
really?
It was, yeah. It was nice. It was stunning. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Beautiful.
We're good. Guys, speaking of beautiful, we're gonna take into Jeff's.
Like, ooh, where's he gonna go with this?
Anyway, so speaking of beautiful, we're gonna take a look at Jeff. Jeff's gonna show us what he's been working on. Try to get ready for the Wilson World Tennis Classic, which is coming up here. It's a Category 2, but it's got to be the biggest Category 2
in the country.
In terms of participants. And I don't know about your age group, but I was looking at mine. I'm going, oh my God, that's like the 1927 Yankees. I mean, it's murderer's row in there, and
it's rough. The 60s is rough.
Yeah,
it's rough. I mean, there's I know Kyron, was limiting draw sizes so he can spread the tournament out so we don't have the same size of people gathering at the club all at one time. He's still, we're trying to be, conscious of all that stuff and of the spacing and all that. And so I know that, he's spread the tournament out over 10 days now, the 1st through the 11th.
Yeah.
I think. Is that 11 days?
Yeah.
But he limited the size of draws. But still, the 60s, we've got 59, 60 guys in it, and the top guys some of the top guys are playing. So it's
good.
It's going to be a week's work to get something to happen.
Well, that's a first round of 64. There are going to be 6-7 guys who will get, or not even that. There'll be 4 or 5 guys who will get buys. But everyone else is going to have to play a first round match of 64.
Yeah.
So if you're going to win the tournament,
I'm hoping that my 2 tournament wins, at the end of last season, right at the end in November, will put me in that, getting a bye that first round.
Well, you're in the subjective world of whoever is the seating coordinator, which is always like really? Well, why? Well, that guy has a lot of points. Oh, he's got a lot of participation points. Hasn't beaten anybody, right. But he's got a lot of participation points. Yeah. I see. So he's seeded 3. Okay, great.
Spelled his name right on the application. Okay, great.
Got it.
All right, let's not start that rant.
Okay, sorry. So easy with you. So easy with you to.
Isn't it? Just let me throw him a bone here.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, look, so why don't we get to it, Jeff? Why don't you, this is kind of, when was the last time you played a Category 1 national? Was that back in the 55s over at Indian Wells?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Or maybe Boise? Was it maybe the indoors?
2017, maybe.
Okay.
2016, 2017.
All right. So this is, I think, like very, very close. It's going to play very close to a CAG 1, if not.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it is.
So you've been kind of honing for this thing. I think a lot of other players have too. They've been chomping at the bit to try to get out and play a tournament. I don't know what's going on in Florida with those age group tournaments there, but out here in the West Coast, this is really the first one of any significance.
Yeah. So this is the debut tournament, really. For the West Coast. So tell us what you've been doing and kind of what's been the program. And I'm also kind of curious as to, this is not something that you do on a regular basis. This has been much more focused on this tournament. Yeah. I've tried different things in the past in the gym and working out and all that. And I've yet to, until now, I've yet to really find that comfort zone where I feel like the exercises are actually comfortable to do, and I can do them, and for me, motivation is one thing, and that's easy. We can queue up anything on YouTube and get motivated, and get
Sure.
energized and all that. We can watch a scene from Rocky or something, and whatever your thing is to get motivated.
Right.
But
which, by the way, I totally buy into that stuff. I mean, I've got a couple of videos that I've got saved on my phone, on my computer, that if I need a little extra,
just a little push, but
it's about
for me,
5, 6, 7 minutes, and let's go.
Yeah. So for me though, I'd say this though, I do cue them up occasionally and use that for that little extra push. But for me, it is just simply about the down and dirty discipline. Get up, go do it. And it's just that, I hate to say simple, but it is that simple. When the rubber meets the road, do you have the discipline every day, no matter what happens during that day, to take your 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever thing you're doing, maybe it's 15 minutes, and it doesn't matter depending on what it is you're aiming at, but do you have the discipline to stick with that program? And I'm guilty of falling off over my whole career, right? We all are guilty of starting it and herky jerky starts and finding that path. But so far with what I've put together, I found it to be something that I can do, something that I'm starting to almost enjoy it, because it isn't like, oh God, that's just it takes time to get your body to that place where you start to actually kind of crave it a little bit, and I've been in those shoes too, and you have too, Brent, where all of a sudden it's like you just feel like my engine needs to open up here, and I need to break that sweat, and I just like the way it feels, and the endorphins are flying, and it's like, yeah, that's really great, but it takes time to get there, and I'm not talking about just 2 or 3 weeks. It takes time to get your body into this this state where it kind of craves that work. So for me, I am how many days in? I'm 31 days in, with 27 days of actual training. So I've taken almost a day off a week. Mm-hmm. And the day isn't specific. It's not every 7th day. I really kind of look and feel like, what did I do today? How does my body feel? I think it kind of feels like it needs a rest. And so that's where I kind of manage that part of it. So it's not this cut and dry, hard, every Sunday is my day off, and that's my, whatever you want to call it, cheat day in the diet and all that. I'm not doing anything necessarily specific in the diet. But so 27 days in, 4 days off. Takes me about 40 minutes to do this, what I've put together. And all these things I'm going to show you today are simply items you can get. I've sent you the links, Brent, and so if anybody wants them, email Brent and he'll send you the links. I'm not an affiliate of any of this stuff. It's just stuff that I looked at, and the first primary thing that I looked at was, one, what is the, as I'm looking at the screen, is the quality look good of the piece of equipment, and is it something I can throw in the car or possibly even travel with on a plane? Can I throw it in my bag if I check a bag, and will it, and can I use it where I'm at? And that for me is really the biggest, was probably the biggest factor in why I chose the things that I chose to.
Well, use. I would think too that the things that you chose had to be kind of planned out in terms of your unique, let's say, style of play,
right?
And your unique body type and whatever. You must have chosen things that were specific for your tennis game. And the reason I'm saying that, I think a lot of players don't really spend enough time prepping or planning or thinking about, based on my body type, based on my age, based on all this kind of my style of play, what do I really need to do to enhance my unique skill set? And I guess I could go out and I could run 5 miles a day. You could, but
I won't do it.
But you'd move like, a slug out there. You'd have, so
I can hear my calf as I'm thinking about going and jogging and running for 5 miles. I can hear my calf muscles like popping like a guitar string in a concert. Bing! No,
Okay.
thank you.
So that's
No, thank you.
So that's off the table. All right. So you must have thought about it for your game
Yeah.
in terms of what you really needed to enhance. So take us through.
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to attack was my shoulders, right? And very, very specific. I mean, literally, when I'm done doing these exercises, this area right here, just the shoulder, the delt, right in there, is on fire. I mean, it's that one specific area is hot. It's 7 exercises. The equipment I use is called crossover Symmetry. And it is a series of bands, and I'll show you them in a second. It's a series of bands, and when you buy the bundle, you get your choice of which 2 bands you're going to get, and then you can add bands to it. So that's what I've done. I added. I started with a 3-pound band and a 10-pound band, and I added in that first order a 7-pound and a 15. So they come in a 3 and a 10, a 7 and a 15. And so I added the other bundle of those because I wanted the whole range, because there's some exercises I started with that I was literally using the 3-pound band to do the exercise and the rotation of the shoulder. And the critical part of this is don't be greedy. This isn't about, 25 pounds when I first started. Yeah, you're going to blow your shoulder out. You'll ruin yourself. And so you have to take this from a perspective of it's not a how quickly can I get to lifting more, resistance bands. It's not that at all. It's really the health of your shoulder. First, can I get it back to a place where, for me, the sensation when I know my shoulder is starting to, like, I know I'm getting weak, my arm starts to feel like it's just hanging off my body, where it doesn't feel like the shoulder's really engaged. And so as I'm 31 days into this now, literally it feels like my shoulder has gone from, hanging low to feel like it's being pulled back up into the socket. I mean, literally I can feel that it feels.
So what does that do? Why is that important for your game? I mean, it's obvious why, but for you specifically.
For me specifically, because I was born and raised hard court serve and volleyer, California. If you look under, serve and volleyer, California hard court serve and volleyer in the dictionary, there's my picture.
Okay. All right.
So for me at 60, my hands are good. I still, technically I hit a good solid volley, blah, blah, blah. And in order for me to do that, I needed to recapture a few miles per hour on my serve. And I'm not going to, and I wasn't going to do that without injuring myself if I don't get my shoulders healthy to be able to up the ante on that.
So you're saying you can't just go out and hit 50 serves 4 times a week to be able to build up that extra MPH on your serve.
That won't do it. You'll get more accurate and all that, but in terms of really increasing, miles per hour, so that's really where, for me, my ability to serve and volley hinges on my ability to hit a serve with a little more meat on it and a little more accuracy, a little more spin on the second to get the ball up, to get the ball to jack a little bit more. So those are the specifics of why the shoulder work became so important. And, over a career, I know for a fact, I'm sure I have some micro tears in the rotator cuff and blah, 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 right? I can feel it. It's like, oh boy, there was the knife in the shoulder, right? I know it's there. And so in my research of looking for things to work with, crossover Symmetry really seemed to fit that bill. So what is it, right? It's, we'll take these off. So it's a series of bands, right? And they're colored, right? And so there's you go like that, 7-pounder, right? You can see that?
Yeah.
The band is coated, right? So there's none of this like grabs your skin if it rubs against you. It doesn't like a regular open rubber band grab, like yank, all that. So anyway, the quality just is fantastic. It's really easy, right? It's just the carabiner at the end that clips on. Let me get that over there. This piece though, the brass, I bought that at Home Depot. Yeah. Because traveling, I don't know what I'm going to be able to hook this onto, like just the one. And since I'm always using at least 2 bands in the 7 exercises, I wanted them all together. So it's just a little extra thought to put that together. Now the other end of it is the handle. Yeah. Right. So the first 3 exercises, the bands are 4 feet apart in front of you and just above eye level. So everything is coming down on an angle, crossed over like this, and then you're pulling or or opening, right? So the exercises are very basic, but it's really critical that when you do them, when you first start, that you don't overextend. It's okay if it feels almost easy, because I mean, literally just doing the exercises with a little bit of resistance is going to make your shoulders wake up and go, hello, we haven't been doing this, right? So for me, this really is, it just makes it convenient, the whole thing. And there's 2 sets. Let's go like this. 2 sets, right? You got to have one for each arm. And that comes in the bundle in the pack. It comes with a travel bag, which is great. So it makes it incredibly easy. I also, let's see, throw this extra little thing in here. Another little Velcro strap. You see that, right? With the carabiner at the end. I bought that at Home Depot for $2. I think I bought 4 of them because, again, I don't know where I'm at and how I'm going to attach, because this might not fit on whatever I want to hook to. So this allows me almost universally to be able to find a fence, a gate, if things are going this way, to be able to strap onto.
A garage in Lance Court?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Remember? Yeah. There you go. So anyway, so that's for the shoulder work. There's 7 exercises. 3 are above your eye line. 4 are just below your knee line. So we're always attacking the shoulder on angles.
I see.
And you do 3 sets of these 7 exercises, 8 reps per. And I just keep doing exactly what they're saying to do. I'm not modifying it. I'm not doing anything crazy, right? So that's that. So I've got 27 days on the shoulder work out of the 31, and I can tell you for a fact it's making a massive difference in my striking of the ball and just how firm it feels, and just the overall health. I was serving last week, and did I play? And then Tuesday I played as well. Played some tiebreakers, and I can feel the velocity on the serve. It's just a hair. I can just tell that I'm putting a little more miles per hour on it. Another 3-4 weeks. I was hoping. And I don't know I don't know how to measure it because I didn't take any miles per hour checks before I started, but I'm hoping to add like 5 miles an hour on the serve, and I know that doesn't sound like much, but let me tell you, it makes a big difference when you're doing that. So that's the shoulder work I'm doing. At that website, same company, there are the bands here. So these are, right. So you've seen these, and they're, just the flat rubber bands that go around your knees or around your waist, and they yank your hair out, and it's like, it's right. So they've come up with this, right? So it's padded, and the band is coated. So when you put it around your knees, your ankles, whatever you're doing, it's comfortable, right? So this is a 10-pound. The red is a 15-pound. I've just upped the ante to 15. So what I do with these is I put them just above my knees, and I do 3 sets of 30 side steps, 15 out, 15 back. And so the first 21 days I use this, and then this week I upped all my stuff, and so this is a 15-pound resistance, and I can tell you this week my hips have been crying a little bit. But
so
again,
what is this? Jeff? What do you feel that this specific exercise does for you?
So on the serve and volley, and obviously I'm playing doubles down there as well, coming in and grinding out that first volley and being stable. So here's what this is, and the other exercise I'm going to show you, the battle rope I have, are creating stability in those lower movements, getting down to the low volley, being stretched out on a forehand or a backhand, whatever it might be. The platform I'm working, I'm finding that my stability at contact is starting to really make a big difference in my ability not to just get that ball, but do something with it. And so that's been the response from the guys I've played with this last week, is like, damn it, Jeff, you're getting to that extra ball, but you're not just getting there, you're actually passing me with the passing shot, or something like, because I can just feel that I'm stable at contact, even if I have to scramble for the ball. So that's a big. And my cardio is getting better, and we'll get to that in a second, from that as well. So I'm tracking down an extra 2 balls now, And the guys are just kind of looking at me, going like, nobody gets that extra ball. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Here we go. Let's get it going, right?
Okay.
So anyway, these are great. And again, you buy these separately, same site, and none of this stuff is hyper expensive. It's a small investment to have this product, this equipment that you can travel with. And again, that was a big primary motivation for me in what I wanted to use, right? What I'm doing for my cardio, and this is actually cardio, biceps, shoulders, calves, thighs, a whole thing is a battle rope. Everybody knows what these are, right? You see the guys in the gym doing this with them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, this company put out a jump rope, and so it's called Rhino Rope. It's like $50, I think, and they make a 2.5 pound, a 5.5 pound, and a 10 pound. This one is a 5.5 pound, and I can tell you, it gets the job done.
Sure. Yeah.
So I started out week 1. I do 4 sets. Week 1, I did 4 sets of 25, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you get to the end of that set, because this is not a speed rope, you have to physically bring the rope around. So your arms are getting cooked. And the other thing is that because this rope doesn't come around fast, you get 2 jumps in for every revolution of the rope.
Wow.
Right? So the first 7 days, I did 4 sets of 25. And then my plan was next week, I bump it up 5 reps every week. So then the next week,
cardio wise, this is not really an aerobic. This is much more anaerobic, which
Right.
is kind of mimicking how we play points. I mean,
Yeah.
playing points is not a, kind of an aerobic thing. Let's get the heart rate up a little bit.
Right.
No.
This is about playing and quick recovery and
Yeah.
being able to be explosive on the next point as well.
Okay.
And I'm finding that this is actually doing the trick. I used to, I like a stationary bike because I like the no impact. And in the stationary bike world, I like a recumbent where I'm sitting back, my feet are in front of me. I like that because it engages my core the whole time. But I'm finding I'm enjoying this more. And so I'm up to 4 sets of 40. That was last week. And this week I bumped up the tension on my bands and my shoulder work. I bumped up to the next level. And so I decided, because I could feel it, to stay in do another week of 40. And so that's really important too, is that you got to get in tune. You got to know your body. You got to know whether your body's telling you, listen, it's take a rest today, or listen, it's okay if we do another week at this level before you bump up. So you got to get to know, because this whole thing is I've cooked my shoulders already, and now the battle rope is double cook. Right?
I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but Mr. Stowe loved jumping rope. That was kind of the one off-court thing that he really, liked. I mean, he was always saying, look, I mean, off-court training, just play a ton of sets. But if you want to do something, go jump rope. And obviously that works into rhythm. It works into footwork.
Yep.
It works into being light on your feet. And so I think this is a great.
Yeah.
Great,
so for me, it's really all of it, collectively together is I know exactly what piece of equipment, has affected that area. So I was looking for that total body thing without, I don't want to carry weights. I don't want to do that. So anyway, so right now I'm doing 4 sets of 40. And so the sequence is I do all my shoulder work first with crossover symmetry. I do my side steps then to give my shoulders a little rest. And then I come back and I do 4 sets of the battle rope, jump rope. And then the last thing I do is planking. And I bought, I'm sure everybody has seen these things, right? It's this triangle shaped thing. It's got a pivot. It's got a pivot on the back.
Oh my God.
Right? And so it's planking, right? And so when you're on it, right, you've got to stabilize it, right? But the beauty is, you see this little space right here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's you download the app on your phone, and then the phone just sits there.
Okay.
But you download the app and you have your choice of all these games. So while you're planking, you've got this thing there, and you're playing a game, adjusting this. So you're getting, it's just banging all over your core, right? All over your abs and everything.
That's great.
And so I do a minute 30 plank playing a game, and then I take about a minute rest, and then I do it again. And so right now I can do, I've got my highest score now at a minute 30, and I'm almost up to a minute on the second go round of planking. So the minute I can get 130, I'm going to, and I kind of just intuitively go, what makes sense to me, rather than like finding a specific program. I like to do things that allow my body to acclimate, and then I'm gonna push it a little farther. I think we have to be careful. I'm 60, and I have to be careful not to have the training set me back. I know there's some out there who we know who've tried some of the training who've had some setbacks because they're overcooking. They're not aware of their body's what it can take. And then
limits,
are you working too hard for what you're actually fit for at the moment? So that's a buildup. So I don't rush through. So the minute I get to a minute 30, and I'm at a minute 30 and I'm almost a minute now, when I can do 130, I will bump the first planking up to 2 minutes. And then I will go to failure on the second one until I can go 2 and 2. And it's just a matter of patience and understanding that the work is getting done, and it's cool, and it's just me. It's just me figuring out, for my body what.
Well, I think that's a big thing that when I was younger, I used to overcook it. I used to overwork it, and I just felt like, well, I want to make sure I'm doing more than everybody else. Well, okay, I would do that temporarily, then I'd get hurt, and then I'd be doing way less than everybody else.
Right.
So I had to find that. I had to find that sense of for your body. Stop comparing yourself to others. Just what is right for you. I'll tell you I just ordered, I don't know, a few days ago from Amazon, the old bongo board. The old
I
roller.
think that's great.
Just to kind of work on the balance, because I feel that as we get older, I just think that we can do a lot of the exercises that you talked about. I do a lot of Russian kettlebell swings. Not a lot. Yeah. But that's really great for the core. But in terms of pure balance, I just feel like I need to do more for pure balance. Rather than just sort of like a stork kind of standing on one leg and lifting up the other leg.
Right.
All right. So anyway, Colin's got an interesting, and Mike, by the way, I'll send you this info. Guys, look, if you want to get Jeff's list of stuff, he has sent it to me, and just let me know. You can shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. I'm sure Jeff wouldn't mind too if you want to shoot him an email for any kind of consultation.
Yeah.
Jeff, was it Jacklich365.com?
Yep.
But
the other thing too is when I started this too, I didn't do the planking the first week either. I just went, what? I can feel it. I've done my body is here. I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to add an exercise in. So there's no like this hard, fast rule that, I got to do everything on day one, and I got to do it as hard as I can, because you won't be able to do anything on day two, like you just said, Brent. So this is a collective progression, and the payoff is you just be patient, and you will start to notice. So I'm not overly concerned how many sets I'm getting in before I play.
Right.
I know, as we circle back to the interview we did back in 2000 maybe 16 when I played the hard courts down at Indian Wells.
Yeah.
And I did some fitness work before that as well, and I could tell that was more important than actually hitting the ball. My ball striking just elevated automatically because of stability, because I had the upper body shoulder work and all that it you just feel it. There's no other way to describe it. It's just a feeling. You can feel that somehow, God, I just feel more stable at contact. The racket in my hand feels easy to maneuver. So the payoff is just it's a little more subtle than just feeling, oh, I can see my bicep is now 10 inches or whatever, 25 inches, right? Oh,
right.
great. Okay.
I think we know someone who prides himself on. Anyway, look, we've got a couple of comments here that I want to get to, Jeff. And Colin, I'm going to get to yours in just a second because that's a little bit different. I think it's got more to do with diet, actually. What Colin's actually, what he's asking. But Joe is asking, Jeff, do you see any similarities between skiing and tennis in terms of lower body and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, huge. As a matter of fact, I was in Sun Valley a week ago, and I took all my gear with me, and that was the promise I made to myself. I'm gonna ski all day, and Sun Valley is one of my favorite places on the planet. I mean, literally, it is. To me, it just feeds my soul. So I'm on the mountain 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 hours a day, because that mountain is, your warm up run at Sun Valley is 2 miles. So it's like you're going. It's time, let them run, and your legs are saying good morning. So I did my work at the end of every day at the hotel, and the hotel has the big glass wall that looks out onto the pool and the jacuzzi and all that. So I'm a monkey in a cage doing my work. And everybody else,
and they're all sipping their.
They got their margaritas and doing their stuff, and they're looking at me like, "Who's the knucklehead in the gym?" Right? And then I'd come out afterward and grab a beer or something and go hang in the jacuzzi for a few minutes, and then they go, "Like, did you ski today?" Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Good, man.
Good. So that was the problem. But yes, for sure. In fact, I'm going to go up today to Dodge Ridge for the day and grab it because we've got some fresh there. So that's an hour and a half away. So we're going to jump up there and get a day in there. I find skiing is obviously for the legs. There's this great lower back as well. Mm-hmm. And there is cardio to it. When you're skiing and depending on your level, there's a rhythm and a breathing to it that helps keep the body relaxed and everything. So yeah, if you're doing any kind of work for skiing, the translation to the tennis court is going to be, from my sensibility, is going to be automatic.
Cool.
Cool. Without a doubt. So, yeah.
Randy, our boy Randy Bierman's asking, do you play your tennis before or after the workout? Seems like a lot on top of tennis. Right.
So no, I nor like what I'm kind of tinkering with now. And again, this is like this trial and error kind of thing when you do this, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm using the bands and doing one set at a lower resistance to warm up. So I'll do one set of the shoulder work, the 7 exercises, 130 side step at the lower resistance, and I might cue up, a quick 20 on the battle rope, jump rope. I won't do any planking though. I won't do that. But that just all of a sudden, my body just feels like it's engaged. My shoulders are engaged, and then I'll go to the court, and I haven't found that is that causes any problem at all. And then at the end of the day, though, what I'm doing is forcing myself to do the full workout then after the day. And again, you've got to know your body and what's going on. There was one day, I think 2 weeks ago, where I ended up playing 3 sets, and so I was on the court for 2.5 hours, and it was a full on dogfight. And so I think on that day, I warmed up that day with 1 set on the bands, and then at that day, I just let my body talk to me, and I just went, not going to push it. So that was one day where I did play, but I played 2.5 hours, and it was 3 sets of singles, and we were going at it. And so I didn't. So Randy, I'd say, if you're going to do it, plan on doing it after your tennis workout for sure. Yeah.
What are you doing for? Sorry. Go ahead.
But you got to test to see how much you can do after tennis. Again, that's a personal thing. How maybe do 1 set the first time. Do 1 set of the exercises the first time, and then see how you feel the next day. Again, you got to. It's a little trial and error.
Stretching. You doing any kind of stretching at all?
Not yet. Not yet. That is on the extent. I don't know that I'm going to get to it before the tournament.
So I've never been a big. That's not a planned part of your strengthening and flexibility.
Not yet. It is going to get in there at some point, and it probably happened after the Wilson. But I have some programs that I've downloaded for that. I just haven't started that yet.
Okay. All right.
But I
Colin,
think it's critical though, without a doubt. I think it's critical that's part, especially as we age up. I think it's really important. So it is on my agenda. It just in the time frame I have, it just
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
gotten to it.
well, look, I stretch not a ton. I'm not a yogi. I'm not one of these guys who can go for every other day and 90 minutes in the hot room and that kind of thing. But I do find I do need to stretch out my back, my lower back specifically, and my shoulders. And so I do some things there. I just do some obligatory calves and hamstrings and quads and that kind of thing. Collins says he's got some arthritis in his feet, specifically in his toes. To me, that could be diet. So without knowing for sure what's going on there, and look, I know some of this, arthritis stuff is, hey man, you got it. Doesn't matter what you eat. Yeah. But my suggestion would be, if you've tried everything other than changing your diet, I would look at, I'd go online and Google, what are inflammatory foods, right, and go for 30 days, cut them all out, and just see how you feel. Guys, yeah, again,
there's no downside to that.
No. Yeah. So, all right. So, and I do want to say that I do believe that a lot of people go into the gym, a lot of players go into the gym, and they actually get too big for the game of tennis, meaning that it's great to come out of there feeling strong and buffed and all this kind of stuff. But in terms of tennis, there does come a threshold where you actually start contracting things, even though you might be stronger. I don't think it really equates to bringing out your best stuff on the tennis court. So I think you have to make that decision. Well, what do I want from the gym? Right. And look, if you're willing to go, I want to get stronger, I want to get bigger, I want to do this and that, and sacrifice a little bit of your tennis abilities, that's fine. But if you're really going to play some tournaments, if you're really going to compete, if you're really going to see what kind of damage you can do, right? I think you need to be careful. Dan Fisher, our boy Dan Fisher.
Dan, how are you?
Yeah, he says, are you using the roller stick or something like that for recovery after exercise?
I have what's called the stick.
Yeah,
that's been in my bag for probably 8 years. Yeah, so I do that. I like to roll it out a little bit.
Well, look, you've also got the Thera Gun too.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Anybody? In fact, I've got that right here.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's percussion therapy. So it uses the same technology as a jigsaw. Makes the this is the pretty one. It's silent. Yeah. It's not perfectly silent, but
yeah. No, based on your recommendation, we got one, and it sits on the living room table.
Yeah.
We probably don't use
great piece of equipment. I can tell you for sure that it's just a great piece of gear, and the price points are all over the map. From $100 to $400 and $500.
Right.
But I can tell you, I've had days where I've come off the court playing, and all of a sudden I feel a little twinge in one of my calves or something, and get that thing out and work it. Next day, zero.
Yeah, cool.
Zero problem. So cool. I would hunt those down. I know on Groupon and that they're always having a special of the knockoff models, and I know some people that have got them and are perfectly happy with them. So
Jeff, what are you doing on the court? Are you doing any kind of drills other than just playing sets?
Right now I'm not. I'm just playing. But I do go out there with a very specific, like 2 items. Like today, I want to tinker with these 2 things in my point construction, and or I want to be a little bit more aware of my serve placement and that first strike, that first ball, right? So whatever it might be that, as I kind of think about the last time I played, what I was happy with, what not happy with, and then I'll decide a couple of things. One thing I am doing that is constant every time I go out to play right now is I'm paying an abundance of attention to return a serve and punishing the second serve. I can't tell you how important that is in the grand scheme of things, because as you age up, it does become harder to hold serve. Not easier. It becomes harder because we're not hitting the ball at the same speed. But if we're fit in that, I still react pretty darn fast. So as that slower serve comes in, I'm just making a point of getting myself as comfortable as I can with taking a good solid cut at the second serve for sure. And if the first serve is unimpressive, I'm going to step up and inflict some pain. And, I know for a fact that Vegas, that tournament, my return of serve was just a massive part of winning that event.
Well, look, I think
that's always there every time I play. That one factor is always on the board.
I think if you put a little fear in the server that if they don't get the first serve in, that they're going to have problems with the second serve. And I think there's a lot of residual benefits in terms of knocking someone's confidence down a little bit, not only when they're serving, just throwing in a second serve or a first serve. First of all, you're going to get some double faults out of that. But
yeah,
once the point starts, how would you like to tell the guy, hey, I'm going to just by starting the point when you serve, you're not going to have as much confidence as you might against someone else.
Yeah.
And that really, I think, works its way into the rest of the game.
Oh, totally. It just eats away and chips away at the foundation of their like emotional, stability that day. I know in the semis in Vegas, the guy played, said, "God, Jeff, it seemed every time I was serving, I was down love 30 in moments." And I didn't break him every time. I think I beat him 3-2, 3-3 maybe. And but he by the end of the match though, he threw in some double faults in the second set and so it was just this constant wearing the guy down. That did it. But because I wasn't paying attention to was I up love 30 each game. I was just doing the work, like just keep hammering on this. And at the end of the match, he just went, God, every time I went to serve, I just felt like, I'm under the gun to begin with. So it's just, that just changes, you never know. You can't always tell visually where the guy is mentally across the net. And so you just want to, you keep doing the work. And then at the end of the match, the guy says, God, I got so sick. It's, blah, blah, blah. It's great.
Coach Dick Johnson says, good morning.
Good morning, Dick.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, look, so where are we today? We're March 12th.
Yep.
So, and I think is your age group starting later in the tournament?
We start on the 4th, I think.
Oh, so you start pretty
Sunday the 4th through the 9th, through that Friday.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've got another 3 weeks?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a point where you just kind of shut it down and let your body kind of recover? And I mean, you're not training the day before you're not training the big stuff the day before you play a match.
I won't push it for sure. So I'm going to I'll figure out like what's comfortable. And that week I will probably modify the workout because this is the thing I've done in the past that hasn't always played out probably the way it should have. And that is I've like not worked out the week of a tournament, and I found like, wait a second, that hasn't worked either. So what I'll probably do is do my workout, but in a modified sense. I'll do something that week every day, whether it's one set of everything or a full thing at lower resistance, something. But I know I will continue to work out that week at some level.
Good.
Good. And I think and the other thing too about going back to Randy Behrman's question. Is that I'm also forcing myself to do the extra workout right now because I'm kind of collectively kind of looking at that's my doubles match. That I've got to have my body do this one thing. A couple hours later, I'm going to go do this thing again.
It's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
And so I'm kind of looking at it that way. So my body's used to this 2 times a day kind of routine. So So that's kind of how I'm packaging that. At least mentally, that helps me put it in a place that's logical and it makes sense to me. It may not make sense to anybody else, but it makes sense to me that my body is doing this thing twice, because I know I'm going to have 2 matches a day starting on Monday.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, we've broken the record on 7 around 7. Is
it 37 minutes or 47 minutes? Where are we?
Well, right now my clock's showing 45 plus. So
is it 45. Divisible by 7? Is it divisible by 7?
Well, if we go another 4 minutes, yeah, it would be 7 times 7 around 7.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Hope you got something from today's episode about Jeff, what he's doing to prep for the Wilson World Tennis Classic coming up here in about 3 weeks. If you want the list of what Jeff uses, what he does, just shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. More than happy to get that list to you.
Yep. And if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, jeff@jacklich365.com.
Okay. All right. Good. So look, I get a lot of players, a lot of web tennis players keep saying, when's that Jeff Jacklich going to come back on for another episode with you, with you two knuckleheads? And I go, well, he's sort of living the life right now. So I don't know. But you're always welcome. Always welcome.
There you go. Okay.
So, all right. Well, listen.
You're just looking for that. Like, how many days in a row can I get this guy until I can spark him till his head explodes on screen and he just goes off on a rant that he will never recover from.
All right. Hey, Chris. Thanks, man. All right, guys. Well, listen, Jeff. Thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Have a great day up there on the mountain today. And guys, any more questions? Brent@webtennis.com. You can direct message me at Facebook, or you can just leave a comment or a question, whatever's on your mind down below in the comments area. One more thing here from Owen.
Owen, the big O.
The big O. Resistance training, which has a byproduct of slightly increasing muscle mass when done correctly, with full range of motion, will likely not negatively impact your tennis game.
I would totally agree with that. I can tell that doing the band work that my range of motion has increased without a doubt. And that in turn, in translation to that on the court, how I'm feeling about my stroking of the ball is really great. I can feel that I'm, again, stability with a greater range of motion, having those two things combined in terms of stroke production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just think his response is, a little bit, hey, you guys, stop talking about me.
Owen, go back to a month ago when I was down there and I said, Owen, can you just do this? Just do that, Owen.
That's
okay.
Right.
When you're on the tennis court, just do what I told you.
Yeah. Well, that's tough to do, I mean,
very
trying to focus on just do this one thing without going, wait a minute now, I need to kind of pick this thing apart, because no, just do it. I've been there. I've done it. It works. Just do it.
You have to be willing to lose sets doing the thing you're supposed to do, period.
That's a rough one. Joe Daly, thanks, man. Glad you're enjoying this. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got to get in the bike. I got to get my workout in today. I'm not going to play any tennis today. Day off from the grass courts.
There you go.
But right, guys, thanks for hanging out.
I'll be down there soon. We'll see you soon. We're staying at Tombs, so
good. All right, we'll get her done. All right, guys, it's time. Get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, thanks again. Guys, I'll see you again tomorrow.